The Deal Mania sale on PlayStation is live right now, and we got some huge discount deals going on. We're talking like up to 92% off, some absolute bangers. I went through the whole list and pulled out the best ones that are actually worth your time and money. Okay, so the first game we have is Injustice 2 Legendary Edition, and dude, this deal is absolutely ridiculous. It's 90% off, bringing it down to just $6. So if you don't know what Injustice 2 is, it's basically DC superheroes beating the absolute crap out of each other. You got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all these iconic characters just duking it out. The story mode is actually pretty solid too. It's got this whole thing where Superman goes bad and Batman has to fight against him and his regime. What makes this deal crazy is that you're getting the Legendary Edition, which means you get like a ton of extra characters and DLC already included. If you're into fighting games at all, this is such a steal. Then we got Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, which is 70% off, just $6. This is like the OG PlayStation game that everyone should play. So Uncharted is basically like watching an action movie, but you're controlling it. You're playing as Nathan Drake, this treasure hunter who's always getting into crazy situations. What makes Uncharted special is that it feels cinematic. Like, the animations are smooth, the set pieces are insane, and you're constantly doing something cool. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the gameplay is a little dated by today's standards, since these games are from the PS3 era, but honestly, it holds up way better than you'd think. The collection gives you 3 games, so you're getting a ton of content for $6. That's absolutely insane value. Then we got Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, 80% off for $6. This game's criminally underrated, no pun intended. So you're playing as Lincoln Clay, this dude who gets betrayed and now he's out for revenge in 1968 New Orleans. The story is actually really well done and the setting is sick. The city feels alive and the soundtrack is fire. It's got all these classic songs that just fit the vibe perfectly. The combat and driving are solid. Well, for the most part. And the whole revenge storyline keeps you hooked. It's a little repetitive sometimes with the missions, but the narrative makes up for it. Then there's Biomutant for 75% off for $10. So this game got some mixed reviews, but honestly, it's way more fun than people say. You create your own mutant character, and you're running around this open world doing quests and fighting. The character creation is actually really detailed. You can customize how your mutant looks, their abilities, all that. The world is pretty big, and there's tons to do. The combat's decent, and the story's whatever, but the vibe of just being this badass mutant in a post-apocalyptic world is cool. It's got some issues, but for $10, it's a fun time. Don't expect a masterpiece, but expect a solid open-world game that you'll probably enjoy. Then there's Hades, 65% off for $8.74. Okay, this one's actually a masterpiece, and if you somehow don't have it yet, today's the day. So Hades is a roguelike, which means you're gonna unalive. A lot. But that's the whole point, and it's actually brilliant. Every time you unalive, you go back to the start, but you keep some progress. And the story actually continues around your deaths. The gameplay is super smooth and tight. It feels so good to move around and fight enemies. The combat has this flow to it where once you get into the rhythm, you just zone out and it's amazing. I've put way too many hours into Hades, and every playthrough feels different because there's so many weapon combinations and upgrades you can pick. Next up, we have MX vs ATV Legends at 75% off for $10. This game is actually way more fun than people think it is. So this is basically the ultimate dirt bike and ATV racing game. You're tearing through tracks, doing tricks, customizing your vehicles, the whole deal. It's really chill to play, but also competitive if you want it to be. Like, you can just cruise around and have fun, or you can grind the career mode and try to be the best. What I really like about this game is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. The physics are kind of loose and arcadey, which makes crashing hilariously funny sometimes. Okay, so then we got Sifu, also at 75% off for $10. This game is legitimately one of the hardest games I've ever played, but in like a good way. So it's a martial arts game where you're fighting your way through this building, taking down enemies. The combat system is insanely tight and responsive. Like, every move matters. You gotta learn the timing and the combos. And once you do, it feels so satisfying pulling them off. The story is actually pretty cool too. You're trying to get revenge and it's got this whole emotional thing going on. It's challenging but fair, and honestly that's what makes it so addictive. Then we got The Evil Within 2 at 80% off for $8. If you like horror games, this one's for you. So it's a survival horror game from the creator of Resident Evil, and it's genuinely creepy and unsettling. The atmosphere is incredible. You're constantly on edge wondering what's going to jump out at you. The combat is tense because you don't have a ton of ammo, so you gotta be strategic about when you fight and when you run. The story's weird and trippy, but in a good way. It's not the easiest game and it will scare you, but if you're into horror, this is a classic. Then there's LEGO DC Supervillains at 90% off for $6. This is the most fun LEGO game, hands down. Instead of playing as heroes, you're playing as villains, which is hilarious. The humor is on point, and the game doesn't take itself seriously at all. You're destroying stuff, solving puzzles, collecting studs, doing all the classic LEGO game stuff, but with a villain twist. The roster of characters is insane, like so many DC villains to unlock and play as. Then there's Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 at 70% off for $6. If you're into Dragon Ball at all, you already know this one is a W. So basically, you create your own character and you're running around the Dragon Ball universe, fighting alongside all your favorite characters. The combat is super fun and flashy. You're throwing energy blasts, teleporting around. It's just peak Dragon Ball vibes. The character creation is really detailed too, so you can make someone that actually feels like yours. There's a ton of content, like way more than you'd expect. There's story mode, online battles, raids, all that. Next up, we have Gotham Knights Deluxe, 90% off for $9. Okay, so this game got a lot of hate for some reason, but honestly, it's pretty fun. You're playing as Batman's sidekicks, like Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, all those characters, and you're fighting crime in Gotham while Batman's gone. The combat is solid, the story's actually decent, and running around Gotham is pretty cool. Yeah, maybe it's not perfect, but for $9, it's totally worth experiencing. The co-op is fun too if you want to play with a friend. People were too harsh on this one. And then we got Soul Calibur 6 at 84% off for $9.59. This is a legendary fighting game series, and this entry is really good. So it's 3D weapon-based fighting, which sounds weird, but it's actually amazing. Every character has their own unique weapon and fighting style, so there's tons of variety. The story mode is pretty sick too. It's got this whole cinematic thing going on. The combat is deep enough that you can actually get good at it, but it's also not impossible for newcomers. Then we got Just Cause 4 Reloaded at 85% off for $6. This game is literally just fun in the best way possible. You're playing as this dude with a grappling hook and jetpack, and you're just destroying everything in sight. Like, the whole point is to cause as much destruction as you want. You can blow up buildings, hijack helicopters, latch onto literally anything and fling yourself around. The physics are hilarious and kind of broken in the funniest ways. Then there's Middle-earth Shadow of War Definitive Edition, 90% off also for $6. Okay, this game is actually insane and way underrated. So you're in Middle-earth fighting orcs and you've got this ring that gives you powers. The combat system is so satisfying. You're chaining together moves and it just feels smooth. But the real thing that makes this game special is the Nemesis system. Basically, the enemies you fight remember you and have beef with you, so when you run into them again, it's personal. You can also control orcs and make them fight for you, which is dope. The story's solid too. 90% off for $6 is absolutely mental. Next up is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake, which is 60% off for $8. This game's gonna hit you in the feels, fair warning. It's this beautiful adventure game where you're controlling two brothers on a quest to save their dad. The story is genuinely emotional, and the world is gorgeous to look at. It's not super long, but it's the kind of game that sticks with you after you finish it. The gameplay is simple, but the emotional weight of it all just gets to you. You're bonding with these characters over the course of the game, and by the end, it's one of those games that reminds you why you love games. Okay, then we got the only VR game on this list, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which is 50% off for $10. This game is actually really solid if you got a VR headset. So it's a VR zombie game where you're scavenging for supplies and fighting walkers. The immersion is insane. Like, actually being in that world and having to deal with zombies in first person is terrifying in the best way. The combat feels brutal and satisfying, and the story is actually pretty engaging. You're making choices that matter and dealing with the consequences. It's not just a gimmick game, it's actually got real depth to it. Next up is Sniper Elite Resistance, which is 75% off for $15. If you like stealth and sniping, this is your game. So it's a stealth action game where you're a sniper taking out targets from distance. The sniping feels so satisfying. Like lining up a shot and nailing someone from across the map is peak gameplay. You can also go loud and just fight your way through if you want, but stealth is way more fun. The campaign's pretty long and there's co-op too if you want to play with a buddy. The graphics are solid and the gameplay loop is just addictive. $15 for this much tactical fun is honestly a good deal. Then we got Cult of the Lamb Heretic Edition at 66% off for $12. This game's unique as heck and super fun. You're running a cult and you gotta recruit followers, manage your base, all that. But you're also going into dungeons and fighting enemies. It's like a roguelike mixed with a management sim, and it works surprisingly well. The art style is gorgeous. It's all dark and twisted but beautiful at the same time. The gameplay loop is addictive and you're always upgrading stuff and making your cult better. The humor is dark but funny. It's such a unique experience and honestly, kinda addictive. Then we got Dead Space Deluxe Edition at massive 80% off for $16. This is the remake of the classic and it's absolutely phenomenal. So it's a horror action game set on a space station and it's genuinely terrifying. The atmosphere is incredible and the enemies are grotesque and disgusting, which makes killing them super satisfying. The weapons feel powerful and the combat is really engaging. The story's solid and it keeps you on edge the whole time. It's not just jump scares, it's real tension and dread. The remake updated everything so it looks and plays great. Alright, then we got Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, 50% off for $20. This is for the hardcore action game fans out there. So it's a collection of the Ninja Gaiden games and they're brutally difficult, but in a way that's super rewarding. The combat is fast and technical. Like you gotta actually learn the mechanics and get good. When you finally beat a hard section, you feel like an absolute legend. The sword combat is crisp and satisfying, and the difficulty is legit challenging but fair. If you like games that don't hold your hand, this is it. Yeah, it's a bit pricier, but again, it's a collection and not a single game, so it's def worth it. Then there's Pacific Drive at 60% off for $12. This game is actually really chill and unique. So it's like a driving and exploration game set in this weird, anomalous zone. You're driving around discovering things, collecting resources, and just vibing in this mysterious world. It's super relaxing but also intriguing because you want to know what's going on. The driving mechanics are solid and the world is beautiful. There's no combat or stress. It's just you exploring and uncovering secrets. It's perfect if you want something different and low-key. Another one on the pricier side, we got One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 Ultimate Edition at 78% off for $20. If you're into One Piece or just like action games, this is fire. So it's a Musou-style game where you're fighting tons of enemies at once as your favorite One Piece characters. The combat is flashy and fun, you're pulling off huge combos and special moves that just look cool. The roster is huge, so there's tons of characters to play as. The story follows the anime, so if you're a fan, you'll love it. Even if you're not super into One Piece, the gameplay is just pure fun. And then we got UFC 5 Deluxe Edition, which is 85% off for $13. If you like fighting sports games, this is the best MMA game out there. It's realistic UFC fighting with all the real fighters and everything. The combat system is deep and technical. You gotta learn striking, grappling, submissions, all that. Career mode is pretty engaging and you're building up your fighter. The graphics are solid and it feels good to play. Online is competitive if you want to test yourself against other players. This one's for both casual or hardcore fans into fighting games. This one's worth it. Honestly, there's some absolute bangers in this sale. But there's many more. Whether you're into fighting games, story-driven stuff, horror, or just want to have fun and chill, there's something here for everyone. Drop a like on this video and comment if you want a part 2 of this deal mania that's going on right now, and I will find more games within your Rue budget.